I'm in my truck driving home. I hear Led Zeppelin say, communication breakdown. It's always the same. Having a nervous breakdown drives me insane. I want to talk about how communication breaks down and how it's always the same. Stay right there. Communication breakdown. When I think about the word breakdown, I think about something eroding over time, okay? Your car can break down over time because of use and misuse and neglect, okay? So our communication and our relationships can be the same way, okay? Communication breakdown. So when we get married, our communication, pretty healthy. There's not a lot going on except for maybe, we're planning a wedding and it can get stressful, okay? But, typically we're in the honeymoon phase and it's okay. Our communication, it's all right. But as time goes by and those horizontal stressors, present themselves, buying a house, having kids, getting a job, losing a job, all those big life events put pressure, okay? So time and pressure added to your relationship, if it's not maintained, your communication can break down, okay? So that's one way I see it, like in the longevity of a relationship. The other way is in these small events, the little arguments that you have. It could go from a simple request like, Jimmy, could you pick up your socks, to 15 minutes later, you've thrown your phone, you punched a hole in the wall, you slammed a door, you're sleeping on the couch, and now you're looking for a divorce attorney. That really tells me that you haven't maintained your relationship and you haven't worked on your communication, okay? Now, the other piece of that is it's always the same, okay? We have familiar ways of being with each other. We like to find balance. We call it homeostasis, okay, in our relationship because it's familiar. Even if the pattern is dysfunctional, we know what that pattern is and we know how to operate within that. Our communication patterns can be the same way, okay? So there's this thing called feedback loops, and that's a pattern of communicating. So a feedback loop is this. Jimmy, pick up your socks, okay? I'm tired of looking at them, damn it. Slams the door. Jimmy receives that message from Mary, okay? And it's not just words that he's receiving, okay? So the word choice, she says, damn it, and so that implies she's upset. Her tone, she raises her tone, gets loud, has a pretty stern delivery. Let's see, body language, gets in his face a little bit, puffs out, got this look on her face. She's frustrated and angry. And then the timing. Maybe she hit him with that as soon as he got home from work. And so her timing wasn't great. Okay, so he receives all of that, just not the words. Whether you believe it or not, or whether you realize it or not, you receive all of those things when you communicate with somebody. So he takes that message. This is feedback loops now. He takes that message and he processes that through his past, through his anger. Maybe this is his second marriage, so he might be processing that like, oh, my ex used to do that. So his defenses get up. And because he's a man, he wants honor and respect, which, by the way, you can only get honor and respect, men, if you give it, okay? But as a man, he needs that honor and respect. He feels disrespected. So his walls go up, okay? And now it's a thing. So he processes that. Now he's going to give feedback to her based on the information that he received, okay? So we're going to start this loop. So he's upset and he's going to ramp it up. So he takes that message from her. I look at that message like fire. She's hot. She throws in that fire. So he's upset. He puts gasoline on that fire and he adds content to it and more words, right? And more body language and more tone. Timing's still not great. Throws it back at her, okay? Now, a lot of couples, they want to win the argument, okay? Now it's a battle of who can win. It's not even about the socks anymore. It's about who's right. So she's going to take that message and she's going to have, this feedback loop, okay? So she's going to now bring in old content, stuff that's not even relevant to the conversation, and then put more gasoline on the fire and throw it back at him, okay? Now this thing is escalated to the point where now in order to extinguish the fire, someone needs to drop out. That's called stonewalling. So you're going to leave the room, leave the house, silent treatment, sleep on the couch, all of that. You're disengaged in order to extinguish the fire, to stop the argument. Now, that argument, we could fix that, okay? You have this pattern of being, you're doing all these things. If you just change one or two of those things, timing, word choice, body language, tone, man, the argument can go so much better. So there's a couple things that could have happened. Mary could have changed her timing. So Jimmy gets home, the socks are still there. She can think, well, I'll just wait till the morning when he's in a better mood and rested. Okay, so she waits till the morning. First of all, she's not going to be as upset because some time has went by. And if he's rested and he's not upset, now she can approach him with a different tone, okay, and with different timing. Hey, Jimmy, could you please pick up the socks? I really could use the help around the house, and they've been there a few days. Do you mind? Okay, see how that's different? 9 times out of 10, that kind of message is going to be received a lot better. Okay, honey, I'm sorry. I'll try to do better about that. Puts the socks in the hamper. The other thing that can be done is she could pick her battle. This might be a battle that's not worth fighting, okay? She could just let it go and put the socks away for him, okay? So Dr. Nichter told me this story. There's this lady, and she has her husband do the dishes. And man, she hates the way he does the dishes, okay? And that frustrates her. But she lets him do the dishes because there's a payoff. And the payoff is, hey, I don't have to do the dishes. That gives me more time to do other things, and I don't have to worry about it, So even though the dishes are done in a way that she wouldn't do them, it's not that big of a deal. The benefit of her just letting that frustration go, okay, is greater than the fight. It's not worth the argument. So you have to pick your battles. You can't do that with everything. You can't ignore bills and things like that. You need to discuss that. But the little stuff, the little foxes that can spoil your relationship, man, it's not worth fighting over, okay? So that's the other thing you can do, is pick your battles, all right? So in order to have healthier conversations, this is really what we're getting at. You got to learn to process things through the other person's point of view, okay? And you have to change the way that you're communicating with them. Change your timing, change your tone, change your approach, you know what I mean? Change your body language. If you do any one or two of those things, man, your conversation's going to go a lot different. It's going to be a lot healthier, okay? So that's just one little tip I have for you today to help your communication and your relationship go to the next level. And if you're in the North Houston area and need some help with that, give me a call, shoot me an email. I'd love to help you with that. But until then, I want you to remember this. Strong relationships, they start here.